Aloha. You're watching F5 On Demand. I'm Peter Silva, Technical Marketing Manager with F5, and we're here in San Francisco for the 2012 RSA conference at Moscone Center. If you're at the show, we're in booth 2147. Why don't you stop by? And I have David Holmes with me, a recently minted Technical Marketing Manager. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, Peter, how's it going?
So Dave moved over from product development, has been with F5 for over a decade, and you moved to technical marketing recently, but I thought it would be interesting maybe to let our viewers know a little bit about what product development does in terms of ensuring that our platforms, products, and solutions are secure.
Sure. In product development, we have, obviously you have all kinds of development teams, but there are certain teams where we make them of the most paranoid people in the company. We collect them. And then we have those people participate in the secure development lifecycle. They do the threat modeling, looking at features before any code is written. Well, and when I say we, because I used to be part of that team, we would go through and look at them and say, look, what are the assets? What are the threats? And then we'd sit and help the developers figure out, hey, maybe you could mitigate this one like this, mitigate this one like that. Have you thought about this angle? Maybe you should do it this way. We weren't necessarily a gate, for developers to pass through, but we would try to be advisory and really point out there's a whole threat spectrum here you weren't thinking about. Maybe go back and take another look at that.
And is it terms of secure coding or more in terms of potential holes that could be exploited later?
It's absolutely both, okay. Right? It's different processes for both. For example, architecturally or in design, you got to do the threat modeling, right? You got to find that stuff out way before you start coding. And then when you start coding, then that's a different process. You got your static analysis and then mostly code reviews, and you got to get those paranoid people that I was talking about to do the code reviews. Okay. And there's never enough paranoid people. I feel like we should go to insane asylums or something and get some of those people.
And I understand too, so we do the threat modeling, the code analysis, and even some outside black box testing against our code, right?
Absolutely. We have a security test team that does fuzzing and black box testing, specifically for security issues.
And so these would be, they have no, they don't know our products or solutions, they're just coming at it from a malicious hacker point of view to try to get through the system. We
have both, right? So usually we use, I won't even say, but we have some teams that do that kind of testing, and then we have white box testing too, where people really do know how the product works, but they are still using, for example, fuzzing tools and scanning tools and generating the appropriate bugs and then getting that stuff fixed.
So I'm just curious, over the years being in PD, what were some of the security features that you were involved in developing?
Me personally, I did what we call the Secure Vault. It's a way to store keys in hardware for customers that had compliance issues, can't have any public keys on the file system, right? And usually the biggest problem there, it's not so much our device, it's when you take your configuration and back it up onto a Windows 2000 server, right? And then that server gets hacked, somebody pulls all the configs out of it, now they got all your private keys. That's really what that's trying to protect. I was also involved in the FIPS 140 stuff, and that's where you have a hardware security device. I remember one of the first ones we were looking at was IBM, and this was 10 years ago. It was so super sensitive that it was also pressure sensitive, so if you tried to apply pressure to it, it would erase its keys. Whenever they would ship them to the customer, they would get up into the air, and the air density would decrease because they were in the cargo hold.
Really?
And so they would arrive dead.
Huh.
Wasn't our problem, but I just thought it was so cool that the devices would be that sensitive. And then the last one I wanted to talk about was something we call appliance mode, which is a special sort of lockdown version of Big IP that specifically for government use, right? They tend to have more strict policies than your typical enterprise customer.
Right. And so being in security all these years, I was surprised to find out that this is your first RSA show. And so I was just curious. So I'm just curious of your impressions of such things. Again, going from product development, that coding, kind of a different mindset than to a trade show such as this.
Sure. The reason I hadn't necessarily been to RSA is because I was always going to the underground hacking conventions. My first DEF CON was DEF CON I want to say 4 or something like that, where there was just a few hundred people, and now it's like, this year is going to be DEF CON 20, which is, I think they're expecting 20,000 people. So, but coming to RSA, I've always wanted to come, and I can't believe the booths that are here. I don't know if you saw that giant robot that was walking around. That was awesome. Seeing all the vendors, I can't wait I'm going to spend the whole day tomorrow just walking around talking to the vendors. And I think I might have to get somebody else's badge so they don't know that I'm from F5. How do you do that, Peter?
You want to borrow mine?
No, it's because it says F5 on it. I was going to go stand by the badge recycle thing and say, I'll give you $20 for your badge.
Oh, I was actually reading today that there's an article about somebody who did crash RSA. So, somebody trying to get through. It was on Slashdot about using a fake badge and flashing it. And so anyway. Well, we're very happy to have you on the technical marketing team. Thanks for joining us. Very interesting stuff, Dave. So again, from San Francisco, the RSA show, for Dave, my camera guy Jonathan, I'm Peter, and we're with F5. Thanks for watching.